What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lambo Plate Podcast, episode number 37. It is UFC Vegas 65, and I'm here with my co-host Timothy Troiano. No guests today. It's a weird card, so we're not going to bring in the guests. We're just going to pump them out, me and Tim alone. We don't feel really good about this card, but I think that means one thing. We usually do really well. At least I usually do really well when I don't have a good feeling about my plays. It just seems to hit over and over and over. Tim, how you doing? Are you ready for this card?
I am, man. We have a card and it has fights on it. So we're here to do our best to give you guys some good plus money bets here and see if we can cash some of these.
Yeah, I mean, definitely trying to do our best here. It's a tough slate. I mean, for me, like looking it over, it wasn't like something that stuck out too much. But like I said, these cards are usually been really good to me. We're gonna try to dig deep and give the people what they want, and that's big plus money props. And hopefully we hit some of them and make these people some money here. We've been on a pretty good run, and I think this year has been really, really good overall. So let me just shout out the chat real quick because, our chat is always on fire. Daz is in the house. What's up, Daz? Mushroom is in the house like usual. Luke Golding. There's currently 15 of you, and hopefully we ramp it up, get at least maybe 30 to 40 of you in here and shoot away some questions here. It's only me and Tim. So we can answer questions here. We can look at the chat a little more. Tommy Unders is in here. Michael Ferris is in here. Mike Z is in here. I like it. Thank you guys for joining. Yeah, let's just start it out here, Tim. First fight of the night in the 125-pound division. It is Natalia Silva versus Teresa Bleda. Tim, kick us off here.
I'll be saying this a lot. This card, there's just not a lot of crazy, like really confident reads that I'll have. But there are a lot of wide lines because of that. So, and there's also some fights that I think that are, some violence props that are pretty good. This is one of them. Silva by KO plus 850. I think she's got a significant advantage striking in this fight. And if Bleda does not get the fight that she wants clinch-wise and getting takedowns, I think she's kind of fucked on the feet, actually. So KO and maybe even KO later, if you wanted to get greasy with it, KO 2-3 is 18-1, but I like the 850 is enough. But I think that there's definitely a possibility of, getting a little tired and attritional damage and just beating her up on the feet. I think it's definitely a possibility. She hurt JJ a lot in that fight as well when she was striking. Her striking's improved a ton.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Look what you just said at the very end. You went from a girl that everybody was shitting on prior to the JJ fight about her striking in particular. Her striking looked god-awful. And look at what you're saying now. Like, she is the much better striker here in this fight. And, I mean, she looked really good, man. The kicking game, the whole striking game, looked so improved. Both these girls are super young. She's 25. Bleda's only 20 years old, man. She's really, really young. And I mean, I don't mind your violence prop there. But for me, I'm going on the opposite side on the violence prop. And it's funny that you took Silva by KO. I'm taking Bleda by KO at plus 1,200 here. When you watch, I mean, her fight against Maya, I think people are turned off by this chick because of that fight. The grappling, Maya just attacks so much from bottom, man. A lot of leg locks, a lot of ankle, a lot of knee, trying to get knee bars. Stuff that she was trying to defend the whole time when she was on the ground, and she couldn't really work her ground and pound, which when you watch her regional tape, man, her ground and pound is absolutely nasty, man. And, when you look at the people that she's faced in the regionals, it's not like she's faced like complete cans. Like she's faced pretty decent opposition when we're talking about regional scene. And she's literally putting a lot of these girls out. Even the girls that have gone to decision against her, I mean, she hurt them really bad in that fight. So the one thing I will say is I do think Bleda is the stronger girl here. She is definitely the bigger, way bigger girl here. And the one thing I will say is Silva looked very good last fight. And I think part of the issue, and I don't want to say issue, part of the reason why she looked very good is because Jasmine Jasudavicius on the feet is horrific, man. She doesn't move her head. She has absolutely zero defense on the feet. I think this is going to be much different here. Bleda's a little better on the feet. She's a little better striker than JJ is. She looks very strong when I look at her regional tape. And I don't want to just base it off one fight and say, hey, this girl didn't look that good against that girl Maya. But that girl Maya is very, very good on the ground. She was attacking like crazy. I don't expect the same thing from Silva. I don't think she's as good as Maya is. So with that being said, I think Bleda gets this fight down to the ground. And I think she's very, very nasty when she's on top. And if she gets to like the full mount, it's going to be very, very dangerous for Silva. So for me, I'm taking Bleda, man. KO plus 1,200. I think that's a crazy, crazy price, honestly. I know it's women's MMA. I don't understand why her KO is so big. Like, this girl's finished a lot of girls. And now we have it sitting there at plus 12. You know what this reminds me of, even though it's a women's fight, and I'm going on too long? But it reminds me of what's that dude that knocked out Feely? Slipping my mind. The Brazilian dude from Contender Series that knocked out Feely.
Brito?
Who? Brito. He was plus 1,100 by KO when the guy's known to be a knockout artist. This literally feels like the same thing, but it's women's MMA. It's the only difference. I do think can finish her, honestly, with ground and pound. So that being said, plus 1,200. Stupid line, in my opinion. I probably won't hit, but I think that's a crazy line. Moving on. Fight number 2. It is in the bantamweight division. It is Fernie Garcia versus Brady Hiestand, and I will kick this one off. I will preface this by saying that I favor Brady Hiestand in this fight because of the grappling, the wrestling. However, there is a line out there that is it's a head scratcher as well. It's Garcia round 3, plus 2,700 on FanDuel for a guy that Brady Hiestand just gasses on almost every one of his fights. The one thing I will say is, like, he's a great wrestler. He can, get those mat returns. But one thing I see from Garcia is his get-up game is good. He doesn't stay on the ground for long periods of time. Like, he's constantly trying to work back up. And it might be one of those fights where it's like he's going to work back up, get taken down, work back up, taken down. But I think that's going to take a toll more on Hiestand because from what I see on tape, he just seems to gas later in these fights. And, not that Fernie Garcia is like a big finisher, but he does have power. Like, I said this in his Contender Series fight. I took him by KO in the Contender Series fight. And I said it. I said this guy has a lot of power in his hands. It hasn't came to fruition up until the Dana White's Contender Series. But if Hiestand is tired late, I think Garcia can finish him, honestly. And we saw a guy that has absolutely zero power in his hands hurt him when he was tired. So I'm going to take Fernie Garcia round 3 plus 2,700. Crazy line again. Tim, what do you like?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the power he's definitely has more power than Tercios. I think you're talking about Tercios hurting him, right?
Yeah, Tercios hurt him, which is it's a bad. I think it's part of like him hurting him and him already being tired. I think.
Right. Yeah, I like Hiestand sub plus 460. I just think like you said it. I mean, it's kind of weird. It's like I think that Fernie's get-ups are partially good. I think like he gives up his back when he gets up. He's aggressive, really aggressive to get up, but as he does, he turns and gives up his back a lot. So especially early, like you're saying, I mean, could Hiestand get him late? Yeah, but he has gassed, and I do think that he's going to probably be more into position over, and trying to hold him in the later rounds, unless he's completely broken him, which is possible too, because Fernie does gas as well. So they both kind of like have a little bit of gas issues here. I instead of like going rounds or anything and getting cute with it, I just like the he stand by sub at plus 460. I think that he's aggressive to go for it, and he's definitely going to have positions where he'll have opportunities and try to sink something in. So that's not a bad line for somebody that's going to constantly be grappling all fight.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do see a potential where he gets the rear naked choke, because I think he had it in deep against Tercios, and
Yes.
he's just really good at, I mean, he's really good at getting the back. He looks really strong in wrestling. And I got a tidbit for everybody here before we go on to the next fight, and probably for you as well, Tim. For everybody that doesn't know, Brady Highstand fought with a torn ACL the whole freaking show of Tough. So every fight he fought with a torn ACL. It's pretty impressive, man. Like, to do all that wrestling and shit with a torn ACL, like, what's he gonna look like with a full, really reconstructed ACL now? You know, I don't know if he's making that shit up, but I doubt it, because it really sounded genuine. Like, he said the very first week in training in Tough, he heard a pop, he blew his knee, but he didn't want to tell the staff, because he didn't want them to cut him from the show, because they had to then if he tells them.
It would affect everything too. It affects his cardio, just how hard it can train.
And that's, you know, that's honestly a big reason. And me seeing Fernie Garcia against some of these wrestlers like Ryan Hayes, you know, Cody Freeman, these guys were taking him down like crazy. And so it wasn't Ryan Hayes, sorry, it was Cody Freeman taking him down like crazy. I think Brady can easily take this guy. He doesn't have very good takedown defense, but his get-up game is pretty damn good. Papa Chuck, yes, let's catch this live. Nice, thank you. Nandalal is in here. What's up, brother? That means his VMO is very strong. It was all that was holding his knee together. Yeah, I mean, it's honestly was really, really impressive. If that's the case, like, I'm kind of waiting to see what we get from this kid. Moving on. Fight number 3. It is in the strawweight division. It is Maria Spider Girl Oliveira versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Tim, you have the floor for this great fight. Go ahead.
Oh, this is classic. Oliveira is like for a person that's like a striker, she's the worst striker I've ever seen. Like, she's terrible. Like, the combinations that she was throwing against Gloria were just like, DePaula were the funniest. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen. Like, she's just coming forward and she's just like a cat, like just pawing at her. And the judges were like, yes, absolutely. 85 strikes all landed. And it's like giving her credit for these strikes. So I didn't get it. I thought she lost that fight. I think we both had split on that fight. And like, that was just a classic, like, bet by split. I know everybody's expecting it here. I'm not going this route. I do think that Demopoulos has the potential to like stripper sub here, like just do the stripper pole, just run up to her, just completely jump like Gilly and jump guard and pull her down. At any type of banana peel type moment, I think the difference on the ground is significant. And she's dangerous to go for subs. She can even sub while unconscious. She was totally knocked out versus Gomez Juarez, and got bonked, and like a minute later she's taken the arm. So she's super durable. She has T-Rex arms, so it's gonna be hard to strike if it's like a pitter patter thing and volume. I thought Demopoulos lost against Fry, but she stole decision and was close enough. She also landed a double leg in that fight that was really impressive compared to her normal level of wrestling. But she was stupid enough. She was stupid though that she didn't go for it again in the fight. So that's kind of both good and bad. I think if she hits a double leg here, if she hits any takedown, I think 1 or 2 takedowns is like a pretty good line for the sub at plus 340 for Demopoulos. So yeah, I'll take a shot on that. Probably I'll have a bet on that.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at that. I do think there's a path there for Demopoulos. I do kind of like can't stand her takedown. Like, there was honestly there. It's funny because her takedowns look god awful. But the one takedown that she got last fight looked really, really good. Do you remember it in the third round?
Yeah.
She had a really nice takedown. I didn't expect that from her, honestly. And if she shoots like that, she might be able to get a takedown here against Oliveira. On the feet, though, man, like, I think it's still a mismatch. And no matter how bad Oliveira is on the feet, she's just so much longer. What is it, 7 to 10 inch reach
I think it's
advantage?
10 inches. Yeah. I
Jesus
think
Christ.
the topology is off on Demopoulos that switched
Yeah,
her.
yeah, it's a huge reach advantage. As bad as Oliveira is striking, I think she's better even than Demopoulos. She's got a better kicking game. However, the kicking game can come into play here where Demopoulos can catch a kick, take her down. I don't know, man. Like Oliveira looks like shit on the ground, but she's like functional. Like she's she's getting up, she's getting out of these positions. Even against Ricci, like she kept getting out. And I just feel like this fight is gonna be close. I think it goes to decision, to be honest. I don't know. Like Oliveira just is that fighter that fights kind of close, just to her optics, the way she looks. Even Demopoulos, because Demopoulos is aggressive. She comes forward, even though she doesn't land, she's like yelling and screaming. So split decision is plus 450 both ways, and Demopoulos split, which I like a little bit more, is plus 1100. It's a little bigger on their side. I like that a little more. So I'm gonna go split, and I'm gonna add a little bit more on the Demopoulos split at plus 1100.
Yeah, I like those. It's definitely, if the fight goes, it's like you're saying, it could be just really, really close optically.
I mean, when I watched, honestly, when I watched last fight, Jinyu Fry, I don't know how they gave that win to Demopoulos.
That should, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, how the fuck did she win? Like, UFC must love her, because I was going over her Instagram. She's hanging out with Joe Rogan. He's inviting her. Like, she's got some kind of in with the UFC.
There's certain fighters like you're saying, like Gloria DePaula is another one that just never wins splits. Like Angela Hill never wins splits. Who's the guy that would never win splits? I'm trying to think of Zalgas. Zalgas never wins splits. You know what I'm saying? Like, just they fight close as shit, and they just like they do the dirty work, but they just don't get a lot of credit for it. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, in 12 fights, let's look at it. In 12 fights, she's gone to split a majority, 3 out of the 12, right?
It's
pretty damn good.
And then the line's not saying that, right?
And then you got the other girl that's gone to split twice, already once in the UFC out of her 2 fights. So why not plus 450?
Yeah, that's
I think it's fair here. Moving on, and then honestly, you should add a little more on the Demopoulos side, because I really believe that the UFC kind of favors her. Moving on, fight number 4. It's in the bantamweight division. It is Ricky Turcios versus Kevin Natividad. I'm gonna call him Ricky Turd instead of Ricky Turcios, because the way he fought last time, and I had money on him, he absolutely looked like a turd. Like, he didn't do shit. All he did was yell. I think he was on some type of drug, to be honest.
Confirmed. DMT. Confirmed.
Was it? I mean, it was so fucking weird. How could you fight like that? Like, he didn't even fight. He was yelling, Hayucha, whatever. Like, come on, dude. He looked horrific. I had money on this asshole, and it did not look good. I was pissed off. With that being said, I'm on a Natividad side, man. I think this he's been at Fight Ready for about a year now. What does Fight Ready do? And we all know they have a great game plan all the time for all their fighters. They're probably going to have a great game plan for Natividad. I think he's going to wrestle here. On the feet, like, Turcios is terrible as far as striking defense. Like, he gets hit. He's not very good. He's very awkward striker. I'm going to just take a poke on Natividad KO at plus 475. Natividad hits very hard. He's got a lot of power in his hands. I think he might have a chance to get Turcios out of here. He's been knocked out twice. It's not like he's never been knocked out. So I'm going to go with KO for Natividad. Most likely, I think he wins by decision, but that's the prop I'm going to give you guys here. Tim, what do you like?
Yeah, man, Turcios he's definitely on drugs. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, if you say, you know what I'm saying, after everything that you say, you know what I'm saying, it's probably drug induced. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a guy who's done a fair share of drugs in his life, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a tell. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to take, you know what I'm saying, though, because I do think that this is a weird fight, and I don't ever want to have money on this guy, and I'm not going to bet on this fight, and I don't recommend betting on this fight because both these guys kind of suck. this is like fading shit with other shit. And I feel like it's just a bad way to bet. Like this is just a classic bad. If you don't have a good feel on a guy and you don't have a good, like, just don't fade shit with other shit. It's a losing endeavor. That being said, I'll say that Ricky round 3 at 16-1, not bad. I could also see him kind of somewhat bonking a semi club and sub bonk situation where he doesn't really hit very hard, but maybe he connects and gets a panic shot. His jiu-jitsu isn't bad. So I'll take a shot on round 3, 16-1. I also wouldn't hate the sub, like I said, at 10-1. I think those are both not bad looks.
Yeah, sub 11-1. You can get 11-1 Bet Rivers and Unibet, but I don't think it's bad because I do think Natividad is honestly going to grapple. And Tercios throws up a bunch of shit like from bottom. Like, I don't know if it's going to be effective because Natividad is very strong. And I have friends that tell me that his jiu-jitsu is legit. Like he's trained with some very, very good coaches as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned. So Natividad knows what he's doing down there. So might not happen, but it's kind of a long shot line. And the other thing is Ricky Tercios is long. Always look for these long guys to like get shit from bottom. You know, they could lock up those triangles. I mean,
or even guillotines. They just have the angle
stuff like that. Yeah, they can lock them up because they're so much longer. Yeah. Moving on. Fight number 5. It is in the bantamweight division. It is Miles Johns versus Vince Morales. What do you got here, Tim?
Another fight I really don't like to bet on. Historically, I've done well betting against Morales. Johns is just, I don't know. He has a bunch of shit that I just really don't like in a fighter. He's round 1, his best round. Round 2, round 3, he gasses consistently. He's a grappler wrestler that doesn't wrestle. That's always great. And then he's been finished in both of his losses, like different ways, KO and sub. So it's like you can pretty much get. I just don't like that. There's nothing about that I like in a fighter. So then you're putting him on short notice, 2 weeks or so, as a favorite versus Morales. If Morales keeps this fight on standing, it's not like the leg kicks they're always an issue for him. But I feel like the leg kicks will be different in this fight because I don't think the striking is as dangerous or the kicks going to the body or the kicks going to the head for like Gutierrez and who is the other guy that he fought? I forgot. The last guy.
Castaneda?
No.
You're talking about Morales.
Yeah, Morales.
Oh, Morales, last guy he fought was Jonathan Martinez.
So both of those guys are going to kick the shit out of your leg, but they're also going to kick your body and they're also going to kick your head. So it's like, I think the leg kicks from Johns are just predominantly calf kicks. So that's obviously his weakness, but it's like way easier to predict that as soon as he sets up to kick, you're like, okay, I can predict where this is going to go. KO for Morales, 6-1, KO 2, 3, 16, and 25-1. That's fine. I'll take a shot. Those are not bad. He's a dangerous striker. I could definitely see him bonking him and getting him out of there.
All right. Great breakdown. For me, this is like something I saw and I'm going to give it out to everybody so they don't really put too much stock into the leg kicks. If you watch Vince Morales' last fight, right? Because going into that fight, we were talking about leg kicks, right? Because Vince Morales always gets leg kicked, and he's been stopped by damn leg kicks against Chris Gutierrez and been hurt other times, right? So Jonathan Martinez going into that fight, where everybody was talking about how Jonathan Martinez was going to chew his legs off, and he did, right? But what did Vince Morales do in that fight that was completely different? He started in a different stance. He was switching stances in that fight. But you know what Jonathan Martinez did? He switched stances and started kicking his lead leg he started doing the same thing and still kicking his lead leg. So every time Morales switched, Martinez switched and just blasted his legs. Miles Johns is not going to do that. And Morales can switch stances. I saw it in his last fight. He's going to probably do it if Johns, starts kicking him in the legs. But the thing with Johns is we only saw that in one fight, to be honest. And that was against Anderson Dos Santos. And Anderson Dos Santos, after like 2 leg kicks, tore his ACL. So it's like he had a target there to like kick, right? He's normally is not a leg kicker. He's a bad gasser, right? He likes to circle that fucking cage like crazy. It's a small ring. It's not like Morales is some like he puts high volume or pressure, but dude, this guy he doesn't have a good gas tank. Miles Johnson does not have a good gas tank. Morales has 2 third-round finishes on his ledger, and now you're telling me here, take Morales plus 2,200 round 3. And I tell him, yes, thank you. I will take Morales as plus 2,200 round 3, and maybe I cash that ticket on Saturday because I honestly think that's very, very live. Might even come around 2, but man, Miles Johns, I don't know if he can fix that gas problem, Rude, because it looks horrific when it comes to later in these fights. So I'm going to take Morales round 3 plus 2,200. You can get that on, where can you get that at? Yeah, you can get it on DraftKings. There you go. If you have Unibet, you can get 2,400. So even better. Move on to fight number 6. It is in the flyweight division. It is Jennifer Maia versus Marina Moroz, and I can kick this one off. Man, I honestly searched for something I could play here, and honestly, I couldn't come up with anything. Like, I'm looking at these submission props, and it's like Marina Moroz is like 550 by submission. Like, okay, she has a couple of submissions, but I don't think she's subbing Jennifer Maia, dude. Like, Maia's been put in bad positions against way better grapplers than Marina Moroz, and she's come out pretty good on the other end. So I don't see that happening. Like, I like the Moroz side. I like Moroz by decision, but that's like minus 105 plus 100. I just can't give you that. I guess split decision. Even that shit, though, Tim, it's plus 350.
Because they know.
I don't even want to give that to the people because honestly, I don't think it goes to split this fight. I think Moroz probably dominates for the most part.
Oh, I think it totally could. It totally could. Yeah, because I mean, like, here's how it goes to split. Because Maia just historically fights everybody really, really close. Like, I mean, most of her fights are splittish. They just look very splittish. And it's not like Moroz is, if she grapples a lot, then fine. It might be completely unanimous. She might do fine, like keeping out of trouble on the ground, which might be harder than it seems because Maia's pretty good on the ground. But I think it's a lot like the Mayra Buena Silva fight with Moroz, that she's like, they're similar on Maia and Buena Silva are very similar archetypes to me. Like, I just think Buena Silva is a better striker, a little bit more dangerous, and she'll throw a little bit more heat, but kind of inaccurate and gets to the ground and is dangerous there a little bit. So, yeah, I feel like Moroz probably wins a decision, but like you're saying, like, fight ends in split or Moroz by split at 6-1, excuse me, or plus 350 on ends in split. I just could see it being a women's MMA fight where it's a little pitter patter and maybe 1 or 2 rounds are closer than it seems. Yeah, it's nothing great. I agree with you. Moroz by points is probably the most likely outcome, but these could easily go split.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Moroz is like, I feel like she's the better striker. I feel like she is bigger. And yeah, like, I don't know, man. Maia just older, just, I don't know. I think
don't you think it's also like a little bit, I mean, I just think Maia is a historical, like, fights close but loses. But she's also fights, I mean, she's fought the top 3 fighters in the division, the last 3 fights. It's not like she's fighting these scrubs. So fighting Chikagian, fighting Furo and Shevchenko is like, that's pretty fucking tough. So I just think that it could be a little bit closer and the striking could be a little bit closer than people think. It's not like Moroz is throwing huge hands. I think she's a better, so it's not like she's going to have these huge moments. I think, like, is it possible that the striking is close volume wise? For sure. And if there's no real grappling threat from either side and they're just standing for 15 minutes, I could easily see this go split.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. Like, the thing is, I understand what you're saying, but she's also like fighting close against like other fight, like Jessica.
They're not. That's what I'm
Like,
saying. Like that's exactly my point. That she always tends to like fight right around the level of her opponent or just under the level of
the
her
problem
opponent.
is, Tim, it's always unanimous.
Yeah,
That's the thing
yeah.
with her.
It's weird. There's some split
I could see
opportunity.
it. I could see it. I could see it. I mean, that's the only thing we can give, right? There's nothing
Only
else out
really viable one that I see. Yeah.
there. Yeah, there's nothing really out there. So I don't want to just hey, yeah, submission, because I don't think the submission is live. Moving on, fight number 7. It is in the flyweight division. It is Zhalgas Zhumagulov versus Charles Johnson. Tim, what do you got here?
I got the same thing. I got ends and split, and this one just seems like a pretty much no-brainer bet anytime Zhalgas fights. Johnson has the ability to be taken down and controlled. I'm not saying that it's he should have the striking edge. I think if the clinching is there, and I feel like just Zhalgas had I don't know. I don't think it was like robbery, but I thought he won the fight last fight against Molina. I think Jeff Molina thought he won the fight. I thought it was pretty clear. So the split there, just always, anytime Zhalgas fights, I think a split is just very live unless I feel like his opponent's going to kill him. So he fights close. He fights closer than he should. He can do everything remotely well, but not great at anything. So yeah, I'll take ends and split at plus 400. And I think it could. Don't really lean aside. I honestly don't know. I just think they could screw him again. He tends to lose these. So, yeah, I won't take a side. Just plus 400 on end split seems stupid for the fight that their lining goes to decision at the shortest line, and then both their decision props are at the shortest. So, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, every time you have Zhalgas, like, that's always, I guess, kind of a play, right? He fights close. He's always coming forward, chucking big punches, trying to get takedowns. I just feel like this fight is like bad for him everywhere, man. Like, is he gonna get takedowns on Charles Johnson, man? It's gonna be very, very hard, in my opinion. Charles Johnson, very hard to get down, and if you do, it's very, very hard to hold this guy down. We saw it with Mokaev. Like, he got him down, but he couldn't really hold him down in a lot of those. The other thing is Zhalgas kind of slows down later in these fights, man, and Charles Johnson has a knack for having these late round finishes. He has very, very good cardio. The other thing that he has very, very good, Tim, and I want to tell you here up front, he's got a very good front choke series, man. And I honestly believe that Club and Sub is live. A tired shot from Zhalgas to Anaconda or Adars is live. Charles Johnson has a good front choke series. I'm telling you guys, he had Mokaev in one, if you remember, late in that fight, and he let it go. But he's very, very dangerous with the front headlocks. He's long. He's very long. Way bigger in this fight. Submission is live. Round 3 is very, very live, and it's plus 1900. If you want to get really greasy, you go round 3 sub, and it's, what do you call that? What kind of night is that, Tim?
That's pants off. That's pants off.
Pants off night. There you guys go. If that hits, it's pants off night. And I'm also in the DMs with Charles Johnson because I know him. We talk. We've been talking, and he said he's gonna finish this guy. So I don't know how. He didn't say how he's gonna finish him, but I kind of mentioned to him, "Hey, man, your front headlock series pretty nasty." He started. He made an emoji, smile emoji. So we'll see what happens. I'm giving out the round 3 plus 1900 and the submission prop. Also, it's crazy big. I know he's never been subbed, man, but
what is the line? What is the line on the sub?
Plus 1200, dude.
We're at
for a guy that's very long, has nasty darces and stuff.
Where is that at? Where's
FanDuel?
Nice.
FanDuel has it, and then round 3 submission for the people. It is it's astronomical.
Plus 5,000.
It is 5,000. So there you go. And if you had Bet365, it's 8,000, Tim. So there you go. Honestly, think it's live. Late round props are live on Charles Johnson here. Moving on. Fight number 8. It is in the welterweight division. It is Jack Della Maddalena versus Danny Roberts, and I can kick this one off. I kind of feel like Madalena is going to kill this guy round one, but I can't give round one. Madalena is not like a huge starter. Like he kind of takes his time a little. Yeah, he has first round KOs, but he also has a ton of second round finishes. And Roberts might come out, not as hot as he's been, in some of these fights because he's been coming out against, Amiv is a wrestler, Imadav was kind of a wrestler. When he's faced strikers, he's really not been doing good. I mean, Trinaldo hurt him with a. Did you see that stinky leg that he had with a jab from Trinaldo? Like, what was that? Like, he hit him with a jab and he started like dancing everywhere. I'm like, holy shit, a jab did that to him. And it's a little bit of a concern. Like, Danny Roberts been knocked out, many times. Mike Perry knocked him out. Talib knocked him out. Pereira knocked him out. And then Trinaldo hurt him pretty bad. Man, before, if you remembered, I think it was a second or third round, Trinaldo hit him to the body and hurt him really bad where he humped, he kind of crumbled over. And Madalena hits very, very nasty to the body. I keep saying this. He's got nasty, nasty body shots. And Sky's I really like Madalena. I know people are saying, oh, this line is wide. Why is it so wide? I'm not going to play Madalena at this line. But I honestly think it might be justified because I think Danny Roberts is shot, dude. He's going to get knocked out. I have a feeling he's going to get knocked out. He's very, very wild. Madalena's very, very clean when he's striking. He's a lot more shorter. He's a lot more to the point. I think he's going to knock him out. If it's second round, it's going to be good for me because I have plus 460. But it's probably going to be first round, honestly. Tim, what do you got?
Same thing. Round two. A lot of his finishes there. If you can, is it possible that he just stays a little bit at range in the first and just doesn't get the absolute finish? Maybe. I think you're right that most likely it happens in round one. The Trinaldo going up in weight and bonking him like he did. I can't believe that fight went. It was just insane. Yeah, he's not a play on DK. That's really even if he gets a round one KO, it's probably not going to pay his price. It's going to be like really close. So yeah, I think KO 2, like you're saying, plus 460. You can even hedge KO 3 at plus 1200, but I don't think you need to. Probably finishes him in round 1 or 2. Pretty high clip. Liver shot.
I agree. His body work is like coming from boxing background, man. His body work is freaking nasty, man. He hits, and he's got. I mean, did you see his hands in the one? Like, he's got some huge fucking knuckles. This dude, holy fuck. Moving on. Fight number 9. It is Muslim Salikov versus Andre Fialho. And Tim, you can kick this one.
Boy, another fight that both these guys are been fade trains for me, and cash cows going the other way. Xingling Jiang, I bet really big against Muslim, and by KO, had KO 2 actually as well. It was fucking beautiful. Fialho, I think, is front loaded on round 1, and I think that Muslim's going to KO him and probably in round 1. Most of Muslim's KOs are in round 1. And I think that Fialho is going to bring the fight to him, and he's going to counter him, and he's going to kill him. So I think that no super confidence in this fight either way. I think somebody dies. I think the unders. If it doesn't go, if it goes, it's because Muslim wins a decision and he's staying at range and just kind of like, counter punching him most likely. But I feel like somebody's going to die in this fight, and I think the striking is cleaner on Muslim. I think the striking is more processed with Muslim. I think his defense is better. I think he's more durable. He's just old. So I'll just take a shot on him at KO plus 300 and KO 1 plus 750.
Yeah, I mean, I could see all that. I think Fialho is a little more durable than people give him credit for. Like, yeah, he's been knocked out and he got knocked out in his last fight against Jake Matthews. But man, it took how many punches landed clean? 15? Like, huge bombs. He took a lot of big punches from Pereira. Baeza fight was back and forth. Sky is chin. I don't think his chin is as bad as people think. I think he has better durability, to be honest, than Salikov at this point. I think Salikov, after that, pretty bad knockout against Li Jingliang, he's 38 years old. When you start getting it knocked out at this age now, it's kind of a red flag for me. I don't know, man. I don't know where to go with this fight. I don't have a bet on this fight. I think Salikov is the much cleaner striker here, but the power, I believe, is on Fialio's side. I'm just going to go with Fialio round 2 KO, man. It's plus what is it? Plus 900, I believe. Yeah, plus 900 round 2 KO on Bet Online. I think he gets it done in round 2, not round 1. I know you said he's kind of front loaded, but I still think he has a ton of power in round 2. He doesn't look like, and the one thing I like, and I don't know, maybe some people don't like it. I do like it. This is his 5th fight in 2022, man. That's pretty impressive. Like, he's gone 2-2. I get it. He's lost to Pereira, which it's not a bad loss. It was a close fight by decision. The last loss, Jake Matthews just looked incredible that last fight, to be honest. And I just think he gets a much slower, even though Salikov is a very solid striker, like those punches that came from that Jake Matthews they were at light speed. Holy shit, those combinations were crazy. I don't think you're going to get that from Salikov. So for me, I'm going to go with round 2 KO for Fialio. I think he might get it done there. First round he might be, kind of like gauging what Salikov has, because Salikov is very dangerous. So he can't really go nuts against the striker like of Salikov's caliber. So give me round 2 KO plus 900 on Fialio, but no confidence. I'm not touching that fight. Moving on. Oh, talking about not touching a fight. Fight number 10. It is in the heavyweight division. We have Chase the Vanilla Gorilla Sherman versus Waldo Cortez Ocasta, fresh off a fight in 3 weeks where he absolutely got his leg chewed off. And now this guy's back, man. I got to give him some credit, dude. Like, he absolutely got his leg torched 3 weeks ago. And this guy is back in the UFC cage 3 weeks later. All the credit to him. I do think he has some power in his hands. He's probably going to be the faster guy here. I believe he's the younger guy here, isn't he? He's 31. Sherman's, 33. He's a little younger, not by much. But I don't know, man. Sherman won that Vandera fight, but it was 1-1 going in a third. He was kind of losing the third early on. I don't know, man. Sherman doesn't really look good to me. I think Ocasta is the better fighter as far as striking is concerned. I think better boxer. I mean, Sherman's okay. I don't think he's going to, get those leg kicks off like Vandera did. So with that being said, I'm going to go with Cortez Ocasta by decision, Tim. Decision. Plus 550. That's how I'm going to go. I think Sherman's more durable than people give him credit to. He sucks on the ground, but on the feet, like, it's not like very easy to just get him out of there. So give me plus 550, Carlos or Cortez Ocasta. What do you got, Tim?
All right, I got one of my greasiest ends in split decision fights here of all time. This is a potential split, and I know nobody's going to believe me on it, but for all the things you just said, man, I don't think like Sherman gets like an easy KO versus him. Like, he's usually KO 1. If he doesn't get it there, he's like out voluming barely, but getting like probably 6 punches where he's taking them and 6.5 where he's throwing them. So it's really usually close. I don't think Acosta is going to grapple at all, even though every single person that you say fighting Sherman should. So yeah, man, ends in split is 9-1. If you like Chase, it's 16-1. If you like Acosta, it's 12-1. Both guys could easily win a decision here, I think. Like you said, the leg kick is going to be there. I mean, there's no way that he can be fine from 3 weeks ago. Like, there's just no way. I mean, he was hobbling in the ring, and you can't like you can't imagine he's training super hard either, like for the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I mean, I would just imagine. I mean, maybe he is. I just think it's way harder if he's just had a fight. Like, how often do we look at a fighter that fought within the last week, or sorry, last month, and you say like, oh, this goes well. Like, oh, it just historically doesn't go well. So maybe he underperforms a little bit, and maybe this fight's a little bit closer. But the Vandera fight was close enough that if he'd have done struck a little bit more in round 3, could have been closer. I think Costa was turning it on him in round 3, but it was like, I think it was like, do you think it was 1-1 going into round 3 with Vandera?
Yeah, it was 1-1. I looked at the scorecards.
Yeah, 1-1. I mean, yeah, it's just easy to me that this could be the same situation, and you're looking at a plus 900 ticket where you're going even rounds into round 3, and barring some heavyweight bonkage, which is always possible. Low level heavyweight is, these situations, if it goes past the first round, is like it just becomes a slobber knocker for round 2, round 3, and I think that's easy to go split. So I like split plus 900.
Yeah, I could see it, honestly. I think this fight goes to decision. Glenbot said round 3 Sherman. No, bro.
Round 3
Waldo Cortez has very, very good cardio, man. Like, go watch his tape. Like, this guy's he's not gonna gas in the 30. He was on one leg and he was freaking coming forward in that third and throwing against Vandera. Like, he honestly doesn't gas that much. He has pretty good cardio.
Probably more. You'd be on Acosta round 3 more than I would.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think Glenbot is probably looking at it from perspective that Sherman just got a round 3 in his last fight against Vandera. But yeah, this guy has much, much better cardio. So yeah. Moving on. Fight number 11. It is the co-main event in the light heavyweight division. It is Ian Cutelaba versus Kennedy and Nzechukwu. And Tim, bless us with a Lambo play here.
All right, so this is, I actually have a few. I'm sorry. This is the one where I would pick a few. Kennedy round 2 plus 430. Kennedy round 3 plus 1,000. Those are like auto bets anytime you have Ian Cutelaba. It's like fighting Derek Minner. It's like, just, dude, if he doesn't get what he gets, he quits a lot of the time. Also, his takedowns are like, Kennedy's humongous, just gigantic. And I'm looking at something that Kennedy seems to do every single fight, minus the Da Un Jung fight. He just seems to get better every fight, and he seems to get like a new skill. And he just like, oh wow, I didn't know he was fucking good at that. And he was just at range, and now he's hitting huge hooks on Nega Mariano, and then but he never does takedowns, and then he looks like fucking D1, wrestler, just fucking throwing Roberson everywhere and finishes him ground and pound. It's like, okay, so this is the fight that he gets the submission. This is the first fight that he's going to get his sub. He's got huge arms. He's got like you were saying earlier, he's got this huge frame. If Ian does not get the takedowns and does not get the control, any type of like bonkage situation, any type of like reversal, turns to a back take, turns to an insta tap when guys don't even have hooks in. And it's like, that easily could happen here. Nzechukwu strong as hell, athletic. And I just feel like he's like I said, he's always getting like a new kind of wrinkle to his game. And the athleticism is just freakish. So I think he's strong enough to last through the first round. And I think 12-1 on anybody fighting against Ian by sub is like, yeah, you got to look at it, man. Even if they haven't gotten a sub, he just tends to give up his neck. So,
yeah, I mean, I agree with almost all your points. Another point is half of Kennedy's wins are in round 2, round 3, half of his 10 wins. So that even gives you more credence to play, round 2, round 3. I played round 3 plus 1,000. I played some of round 2. I think that's very good. That's where I'm going on this fight. Ian Cutelaba got out-grappled by Johnny Walker last fight, which is a fucking terrible look. He was choked out by Ryan Spann before that. Cutelaba might come out a little more tamer because he's lost 2 in a row and probably needs a win to stay in the UFC, most likely. So maybe he doesn't come out guns a-blazing, but the thing is, if Kennedy comes out guns a-blazing like he did in his last fight, he's gonna make Ian fight crazy, and probably gonna gas him, man. To be honest, and the other thing is, if Kennedy gets on top of this guy, holy fuck, he's huge, man. Good luck getting him off of you. So I like Kennedy's side. I like the Kennedy late round props. To be honest, he needs probably to survive a storm early. But the way he fought last time, Ian Cutelaba might have to survive a storm early. Yeah, that's it on that fight, guys. And before we go on to the main event, I want to thank each and every one of you, 38 of you in here. Thank you very, very much for joining me and Tim on the Lambo Plays podcast. And please hit the like, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it all. Up over 1,000 now, nice in the clear. I appreciate that from everyone. And yeah, with that being said, we will move on to the main event of the night. It is in the heavyweight division. It is Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak. And I don't know, man. This is another one where I was going back and forth, and I'm like, I don't think this fight ends early. I know the under 1.5 is only -110, which kind of crazy to me because for the most part, like Derek Lewis normally doesn't get finished early. Yes, he did against Pavlovich. And he finished Daukus early. But historically, like this guy goes deeper into rounds. People are scared to swing versus him. I know for a fact, Spivak is not going to come out swinging like Pavlovich did in the first round because I don't think he has the power Pavlovich does. So I think he's going to be a little bit more tamer. He's going to pick his shots. Eventually, I think he gets the fight to the ground. And I think he gets a finish eventually on the ground. I just don't know what's going to be early. So I'm going to give round 2 plus 575 and round 3 plus 1,200 on the Sergey Spivak side. Tim, what do you have?
Yeah, I just, this fight is one of those fights where unless it goes the distance, everybody's going to be right. Everybody predicting is going to be like, okay, I wasn't surprised that Derek bonked him. Like, okay, yeah, it's possible. Or I wasn't surprised that he got taken down and fucked up on the ground. Like, okay, fine. Like the surprising, like surprise KO, standing KO that, like Spivak beats him standing on the feet and it like doesn't have to take him down. That would surprise me. Even like just, so I think that he does need to get the fight to the ground. I don't know, man. This is weird. This is a weird fight. Like I hate betting like Derek Lewis after watching how shitty he's been the last few fights, but every single fighter that he's lost to in the last few fights has a major, major threat on the feet. And that's who he struggles with. Like, I just think the people that he tends to murder are the people that he's not threatened by on the feet. And then when they try to do what they do, he fucking bonks the shit out of them. So like Blades is an example of that. I had a huge bet on Blades in that fight. He was actually fine standing with him. And then the second he shot, he was waiting for it and he clips him. So this is a type of fight also that Spivak historically struggles with. When you get like athletic big puncher in Aspinall, Walt Harris, both bonked him first round. I think they were first rounds. But it was just, they both killed him early. And I just feel like the same thing could be possible here for Lewis, that like, just, this is the kind of fight that this is like one of the better, at least striking matchups for him recently. So I feel like he'll get at least what he wants there until he gets taken down and then fucked up on the ground. So I'm going to go with the Lewis side. Any round is fine. I think that he keeps his power in the first 3 rounds. Any of the first 3 rounds is fine. Just depending on what happens and how, you never know what type of fight you're going to get with Derek Lewis and people fighting against him. Sometimes people are just so afraid of him that they do nothing for rounds at a time. So KO 1 plus 550, KO 2 plus 1300, KO 3 plus 1700. I don't think you can go wrong on if you're on the Lewis side that he's not. I don't think he's going to win a decision here, and I think his bunk is like round 1 through 3 most likely.
Yeah, this guy is not. I mean, he's not winning decisions. He's either going to get you out of there, or I feel like in a 5-round fight, he's probably going to quit at some point if he gets grounded late. And I mean, I don't want to say he quits, but he quits. I mean, there's portions of fights where he's just like quitting, and he says this is the biggest fight because he can't lose again because they might cut him and blah blah blah. But I don't know, man. I think Spivak, if he could get the fight to the ground, he might do some damage on Lewis. But I agree with you. The bonk is always there with Lewis. All right, that was done. All 12 fights, and now to give you the Lambo parlay. I'll kick mine off. Mine is actually a decision parlay. It is Waldo Cortez Acosta by decision. It is Kevin Natividad by decision, Brady Highstand by decision, and what was the last one? I'm sorry. I gaffed on this last. Oh, it was Marina Moroz by decision. That will give you 131 to 1. So it's 13,160 for those 4 decision props. Tim, what do you got?
That's sweet. What would it be if Natividad loses a decision and you did like points on the other one there? That has to be still pretty good, right?
Yeah, because decision on either side there is, if you like the other side, like Tercios, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like Tercios, then you're looking at, it's a little less because he's plus 300 and Tercios by decision is only plus 130. So
still's got to be like 80 to 1 or something like that, right?
I'll tell you right now, it's 75 to 1.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I like that. Both of those are really good.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna do a greasy submission 3-legger. Do Demopoulos, do He Stand, and do Nchekwu by submission, and it is 312 to 1.
312 to 1. So it's Kennedy. Who else?
Brady and Vanessa.
Oh, we're gonna try that one. I like it. All subs. All subs. All right. That's it, boys. That's all the card. Those are Lambo parlays. I appreciate everybody in here. Uncle Weezy, Rips and Pigs, Sean V, everybody's in here. Thank you guys. Frank Judon. Appreciate you guys. Hope we kill it tomorrow. And like I usually say, let's cash those tickets.